times before.
Oh, cool. That means you got a game plan and you're going to hit all the fun stuff.
Yep.
Well, here on our left-hand side, we have the Cass River. It was named after Lewis Cass. He was Michigan's first territorial governor. And believe it or not, this river is famous for flooding the city. Actually, why this road was built. We're traveling on top of a man-made dike that was put in back in the 50s, and it did a great job of holding the water back until 1986. That year, the water actually got up and over this road 3 feet and was down into Zender's parking lot. It was very messy, but it was just a 100-year flood. Shouldn't happen again anytime soon. Although at least once a year, the water will get as high as the bottom boards on the observation decks, and I've even seen it as high as the rocks here on the edge of the road. Of course, this section here is a little bit shallower, probably only knee-deep or so. But back behind the dam on the other side of Main Street, the waters are much deeper, and that's where they give the great big Bavarian Belle paddle boat rides, another fabulous Frankenmuth activity. In a second here, Mickey's going to trot us up the big hill.
Okay.
We always say it's everyone's favorite part of the ride. Get the best air conditioning. We might hit a whole 5 miles an hour by the time we get to the top. Of course, I don't want you to let Mickey fool you into thinking he's working hard for you today. Mickey's actually a great big strong grab horse. He weighs about 2,000 pounds and he can pull up to 3 times his own weight. Wow. So he's more than enough horse for the job. And he gets to share his work with 15 of his friends. We have many big guys, so even during our busy Christmas season, they only have to work about 2.5 to 3 days a week. Not all in a row, so I guarantee you his schedule's better than that.
Yeah. We have the St. John's Lutheran Cemetery. It's one of 3 that we have here in town, although not the oldest or the largest. But almost all the names on the headstones are German, except for just a few. And you'll still find that in our population today. They say Frankenmuth is still close to 80% German. Now, as we get into the older section of the cemetery here, you'll notice some of the headstones face away from us where you can't read the names. It used to be German tradition to choose which way your headstone faced before you passed, either forever to the rising or the setting of the sun, and for those who are especially religious, it would also mean to the right or the left hand of the Lord. Frankenmuth itself was actually founded back in 1845 by 15 German Lutheran missionaries. Those missionaries had actually come out here in the wilderness to try to Christianize the Chippewa Indians that lived alongside the river. Of course, the Indians didn't care for that too well. They moved on down the river, and the missionaries stayed here and started logging and farming, of course, as a means of making their way in the world. Now, about a quarter mile behind us on this road is a log cabin replica of the building the settlers first built both for living and hold their services that winter.
And across the street from the log cabin replica is the St. Laurence Lutheran Church of today. It's actually built back in 1880. It has large stained glass windows and a 167-foot tall lighted steeple that you can see from all across the countryside at night. We do offer guided tours, and one of the neatest things you get to see there are the original bells that settlers brought with them from Germany. I hear you even get to ring them if you like. They just say pretty please not during church services. Most of the homes you get to see on the ride today were built between about 1895 and 1950, so definitely a neat cross-section of history. And nothing around here shows its age whatsoever. Everything's very well kept and maintained. Now these homes that are coming up here on my right-hand side, they were actually built in the early 20s. You'll notice there are arched doorways and there are high peaked roofs. The arched doorways are supposed to symbolize the halo of Christ. The high peaks are reaching towards blessings from heaven. It was either supposed to mean that a Christian family lived in the home or that it was built by a Christian architect. Of course, we don't want you thinking the folks across the street are heathens or anything. We just like to say they got a little lazy with the sandpaper when it came around out this corner. Now this big brick house coming up here on our left-hand side with the green trim is another beautiful example of that type of architecture. It is a little newer, however. It wasn't built until 1941. But you'll also notice a very fancy brickwork both above the door and around the windows. That was actually distinctive of the Browner family. Now, today they're famous for the world's largest Christmas store, but when they first came here from Germany, they were masons and bricklayers. And any brick home they built in town, they added that special decorative touch to. In fact, part of the family is still in construction today. They even built one of our big hotels here in town. Another neat feature of many of our older homes here in town would be the slate tiled roof, which you can see coming up here to our right and left-hand sides on the white homes. Now when the slate roof was being constructed, because the slate doesn't bend, they'd actually cut green birch logs and place them along the roof line so that the sap would run out and seal all the cracks and crevices. They say a well-maintained slate roof will last you about 100 years. Of course, if one slate breaks, it kind of has a domino effect and all the rest will quickly follow. And we never stop moving. I guess it's just going to be one of those days. There's not really anything on the radar right now. The atmosphere is just so full of water.
Yeah. I think they're orange. We can buy it. I don't think it's for sale. Oh, it's long.
Yeah.
What's this thing?
You can. street corner. You're definitely gonna find lots of sweet treats. We've got fudge, taffy, candy, roasted almonds, and of course ice cream here to the right at Jamie's. They have homemade hand-rolled waffle cones. You can even get them dipped in chocolate rolls and sprinkles if you like.
I wouldn't like.
A single dip cone is definitely a whole meal.
No one stop.
She tells it when to stop.
How?
With the reins that she told me. There's the taffy kitchen across the street.
Oh, yeah, they're making taffy.
Oh, there's the cheese house. That's where you want to go? Yeah.
There's a beer house.
There's the fudge place.
Smells really good.
That's the fudge. That's the fudge place.
Lots of fudge right
Now in the brown brick building there on our left-hand side is the Frankenmuth Historical Museum. They have tours for $2 a piece and artifacts that date back to when the Indians used to live here before it was
Nope.
Our visitor center is also there on our left-hand side. They have tons of information about all our shops and attractions and all the festivals we have throughout the year.
Do you want a new shirt? It says I
Now I
pooped
do
today.
highly recommend Tiffany's restaurant here on our right-hand side. We say it's the best place in town to go eat if you don't want the famous chicken. They have all sorts of pastas, seafood, burgers, sandwiches, and steaks. They have the best pizza in town. It's a beautiful building too, formerly a hotel built in 1904. They still have the original hotel bar and the Tiffany lamps that the restaurant's named after.
Mom, we went there last night.
And there's a shirt that said single taken on Netflix. And it had the box check and Netflix.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
You want that shirt?
Now Mickey's brought us down the street here to the Two Big Chicken Restaurant. We have the Bavarian Inn on our left-hand side and Zender's on our right. What many people don't know about the two is at one point they were managed by Zender brothers and they're both still Zender's family today. That's how it came to be. They're serving the same chicken in both restaurants. Originally they had to share a mother's recipe. It's the only way to make it fair.
What?
Said that for when they want to do it better. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I didn't know what they were talking about.
She's in the brother.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking about the street too.
Oh, now another neat feature of the Bavarian Inn is the clock on the front side of the building. It's called a Glockenspiel, which means clock that tells a story. It goes off several times throughout the day, and after the bells toll, it'll tell the story of the Pied Piper, first in English and then in German, along with hand-carved wooden figurines that come out above the clock to help tell the story. It's one of very few in the world, so we're pretty proud to have one here in Frankenmuth.
That is cool.
They got rags out of here.
That is cool.
Oh, it's the time to get out when it's raining really. Oh, no, that's my bad.
Before we make it back, are there any other questions I can answer for you today?
I don't think so.
Okay, dokie. Welcome back.
No.
Okay, folks, Mickey says we're home, and he and I hope you had tons of fun today.
We did.